Hello and welcome to my Lancer post Mortem. So it's starting on the menu screen. That is pre-given. So for the intro of my level, I just went for some basic text to set up a story, and in a second it will just do some basic camera movement to add effect before the level actually starts. The frame rate's a bit low because of the PC I'm on, so I've lowered some of the particles for this recording, but the gameplay video will have it all have them all in full effect. So for the start room, the story of my level is you're a maintenance robot, which is why there's all other ones, but these ones aren't operational, hence the red screens, dead one and missing ones. There's collectibles for my level. In my gameplay video, I collect them all and show what it unlocks. For this purpose of this one, I won't collect them all, so you can see the second option of what happens if you don't. At the top right of the screen, there's the quest manager, which will always tell you what to be doing. It should never ever not tell you what to do. So right now, I need to talk to the helper bar. And it moves on to the next objective. Everything has its own quest tag, so you know where to go at all times. Door, robot did, everything as you go through will have a quest tag, always telling you what to be doing. It's got affordance, so if you try and do something that you shouldn't be able to do, helper bot tells you so. Like so. Covers everything you could possibly do. So, and you just make your way through the level. Now these pipes set to spin just for added effect. The way the pipe puzzle is made is pretty simple actually. I took the interact switch, made a child of it, and rather than it changing colour, I've changed the visibility. So this pipe is always here. And this pipe doesn't actually fill that gap. When you pick this up, it disappears, it destroys itself. And when you place it, it unhides the one that's already here. So it's a pretty simple way of doing it. And then using the multi-switch, these are all linked to it and it controls the door. In here, I've got some cameras which took me a long time to get working, but I love the result of them. These are just done with 2D scene captures that update a texture. The texture is applied to a material which is applied to these screens. So these are live. They record exactly what's happening in the level. So this is to show you what's happening where we're about to go, so you know what you need to do. They can be turned on and off, and for the purpose of saving on FPS and things like that, they will turn off if you leave the room, because players aren't going to turn off after themselves, like so. Again, with affordance, since these use interact switch, they will always give you the option to pick them up, but I tell the player why they can't actually pick this one up yet. Same with this one, and it'll tell you what you've got to quickly teach you how to use it. Now, like I said, I've toned the particles down for the purpose of FPS, so this isn't exactly what it looked like in my final game. but it's close enough. Same with the fire, I've toned it down a little bit. Again, it teaches you how to use it. As you've noticed, the fire came on when you walked into the room. That's not just to save FPS for this video, that's in the final thing as well. Just because when you don't need it, it doesn't need to be on. It's just saving RAM as much as possible. With this fire, the way it is extinguished is the spawn rate pot effect in the Niagara emitter is controlled by Blueprint. A custom event is cast to the fire, which will call a custom event and then instantly cancel the custom event. That it will slowly move through a timeline that lerps the spawn rate. So for every, it takes 3 seconds in total. So if you held it for 1 second and let go, the fire would be 33% of the way out. If I held for 3 seconds, it's all the way out. And the clearing and validating of the timer makes it so that it does that. A little bit of story as to why you can't shoot this fire, because there's a predetermined path through this room. I've seen a lot of people when playing my game trying to put this out, so I added that extra text later to explain why you can't put this fire out. Here, you got flashing screens that will again only be on when you are in this room. I can't really show that because I made the box extend to the doorway as well. So if you're outside the doorway looking in, they will be active because the trigger extends into this little bit here too. But if I was over there, that would be off. But I can't show that because the door will close. Basic little cutscene to pans out of the character and shows what's happening. Those sprinklers do the similar thing to the sprinkler, but it were more predetermined and using linking rather than detection, which is a lot simpler but isn't possible for the gun. A bit of a puzzle room here. I stated before, there's secrets all over the place. You pick them up, it will count down how many you need using some maths. It takes how many you have, subtracts that away from the max secrets, which is all determined by something called the stat manager, and it uses that and appends it into a string so it knows what to display on the UI. You can look at these cameras in any order, but it won't tick on to the next quest until you interact with the one that shows you what you're about to do. So for this one, it shows you this steam room because that's the next objective. I make you go into this section a lot, which some people don't like repeating areas they've already been in. I personally quite like it. I think it's a good way to make use of the space. Making a whole room that you only enter once and leave, never to see again, I'm not a fan of. I like the Batman games a lot, and they very much make you repeat things. You will go to a whole building just to notice you don't have the right gadget to proceed, so then you go all the way across Gotham, get the gadget you need, and come back, and I personally quite like that. For this bit here, you have the weld gun, and all this does is shoots a basic projectile, but this little tiny detection box at the end of where the steam comes out detects what's hitting it, and if it is only the projectile that's assigned to this gun, because this gun is the only one that uses it, it will unhide the mesh that is already there over the steam. So you look at like this one right here, it will unhide that mesh there to make it look blocked, and it will turn off the particle like so. Now here you can get through without putting them all out, But because you're a maintenance robot and you're supposed to be fixing the ship, not just getting through it, I make the player put every single one out, which might be a bit annoying to some, but it fits the story. And you don't have to hold this every time. You can do it with spamming, so if I had better for FPS. So I think it's quite, maybe a little bit tedious, but overall fun and makes sense. And a secondary cutscene here to put out this steam. It's done the same way as the pipe is, but this doesn't need to have the casting to the projectile. So this obviously shows Jamie now. As you can tell by the start of the level, Jamie's a big factor in this game. It serves as a purpose, really. It explains everything that's happening, all the issues, rather than just wondering how it happened. You can kind of figure out, you can kind of just assume that Jamie's gone around breaking things, trying to stop you getting to him. Here, you need to gear up. You get 2 new guns here. These are specifically for combat. They have basic functionality, like this one is just pretty fast firing one, pretty low damage, not the furthest range, but shoots really quick. And this one is more of an AR, shoots pretty slow, has high damage, long range, so you can choose between whichever one you want to use, and that works quite well. Just for fighting, as the weld gun and the stream gun, how they do damage. They are not intended for fighting, and they have unlimited ammo. So they have very low damage. They can be used in the fight for times where maybe your other 2 guns have no ammo, and until you get some more ammo, you want to still be shooting them, no matter how little damage it's dealing. That's kind of why I have these 4 weapons. Now, what's interesting about these wardrobes, this button is coded to just move on to the next quest, but will not complete it till it's ready. That door doesn't open, and if you for some reason mix the text, it then replaces it with a new one, informing you haven't found the right items yet. Now, the fun thing is there's 10 rooms here with 10 wardrobes. Now, I do not know where the 4 items needed are, because it is set to randomly assign them between all possible places it can be, and it will always have 4. There's no chance they all spawn less than 4 or more than 4. It will randomly assign 4 to some of the 10 wardrobes. So let's see what I get on the first one. Found nothing, of course, but that is completely random, and if I try to search that again, I've searched this, so I can't search it again. So you can't just spam one wardrobe and eventually find all 4. Removes the quest tag from it, of course, and the interesting thing is as well, there we go, I found something of use, and that is random. Now, what I would have liked is to have 4 assigned things like a worker badge, a crewmate uniform, things like that. That's the 4 items you find, but using the random array section, I couldn't find a way to specifically set certain items to wear for the text. But something of use and nothing does a good enough job for the level. You found something of use. Another issue, actually, I've just remembered, the way I handle text is it updates the widget in whatever thing needs to show text. But what that does cause is, yeah, I can use this as an example. If a second piece of text is added over the original one, it will update it, but when the first one is removed, it will remove the new updated one too, meaning that if you do 2 things in sync, it will remove the second text quite instantly. So if I do that, it pops up and removes pretty instantly, because the code from picking that up removed this before it needed to be. So what I would have to do to improve that in the future is use a text manager that will control all text, and everything that needs to show text will go to the manager, and it will queue things, it will replace things without changing the time that they're meant to be on for, and just have a much more in-depth system. So just searching through, I've now found 3 of the 4 things. Again, it's random. I'm hoping I pick the final one. I've got a 50-50 chance here to show that the other quest tag will remove even if it's not been searched. So I'm hoping. Yep, I did. There we go. So, and now that quest tag got removed as well, because even though you haven't searched it, you found everything you need. So it's been removed. Then you go try the door again now that you have everything you need. One thing I wanted to do with these pipes here is make them spinning, kind of like the pipe was in the first room. But it seemed like an unnecessary addition and maybe might distract from the goal, so I decided against it. Also with FPS, I didn't want to overdo it. Important thing to know here, in this room you're supposed to be downloading an upgrade, which you do through 4 things, consoles, and if you press them, it will tell you 25% complete, 50, 75, 100. Doesn't matter what order you press these in. So I'll do it different how I did in the gameplay video. That one's now 50, and no matter which one of these I press first, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a baby by his tail. Wow. This one will be 75, and really doesn't matter what order you do it in, it will always go up in order, just using increments that select here. Here you'll see now I've unlocked a stamina bar underneath the health bar. The maximum stamina is 100, and I've just unlocked the ability to strafe using Q for left strafe and E for right strafe. There is icons on the left and the right on the screen indicating what button is the left and right strafe. Strafing uses 33 stamina, and as you'll notice, they disappear if you are below 33 stamina. So they will only be on the screen if you're physically able to strafe. So if I strafe now, it's removed from my screen. When it gets to a third of the bar, it will come back. Like so. That is one of the abilities I've added for my game, just to make the final fight scene more interesting and unique. There's hidden secrets in this thing. I'll collect this one just for the sake of it, but not going about trying to collect all the secrets. Bit of a maze scene, there's a bunch of them hidden around here. Most of them are on the way you need to go anyway, except from that one around there. And here I have got my second ability, a shield, which blocks all impacts, as it states there. That's only on when you're near. I pick that up. Again, teaches you how to use it. And shields also use stamina, and it's added the icon to the top of the screen, like it did with the strafing. If I place that now, shields after placed will only stay for 5 seconds till destroyed. And again with the shield icon, if you go below 50 stamina, which is what is needed to use it, the icon will be removed, indicating you cannot use it. And it's removed the strafing as well, because even though you've not strafed, you've gone below the stamina needed to strafe. So, icons will only be on the screen if you can actually use them. Good little indicator and reminder to do these things in the fight scene, because if you've seen from people who play things like Spider-Man games and Batman games, people won't always use the gadgets required that they're meant to be used in a certain situation. They'll kind of just do everything by punching, dodging, and I didn't want that. I wanted people to use these mechanics. So now I've seen shield machine, I'm like, oh, I can shield and block these projectiles. If I don't see it on my screen, I know I can't do it. So I'm not going to be over here and be like, oh, let's shield, because it's not on my screen. So for this fight scene, I've got a multi-stage boss fight, which I spent a lot of time developing, and it was really, really fun to do. Learned a lot of new things of code. I've got some widgets set up to the arms. This shield thing, it's not actually what shield can do. You can walk through this thing, you can shoot through the shield, but it just changes a branch to make these things not detect damage because it's a simple way to do it, and no one other than me will really know that. The body parts have limbs. They only show up while they're being dealt damage. They will not always be up because that'd look a bit lame. Only when they detect damage will they be updated and displayed to the player, like so. I've got a respawn feature in this game, so if I let these things kill me, you'll see I've got a little you died, respawn, back to main menu. I'm not going back to main menu, I'm not replaying all that. But, right, so I'm back. There's a bit of technical difficulties with me forgetting to replug in the checkpoint during a test, so I'm back here. We'll let these kill me again to demonstrate the checkpoint functionality properly and the respawn functionality properly. So once again, you died, and back to menu, click respawn, you respawn at the checkpoint. And it's not one-time use or anything. No matter how many times you die, you're gonna respawn back there. Pretty simple. And now, for my favourite bit of everything, the boss fight. It's got arm guns, using arrow components at the end of the arms. It will cast a line trace from that to the player, which will then launch a projectile aiming at that spot. So like it will detect it once it's fired, so you just move away from that spot. It's gonna land there. It's not like homing or anything, it's pretty easy to dodge, but then it's not meant to be difficult. It's stage 1. You can do some strafe into block here, shield into block here. I've got no stamina. But other than that, it's just that. And then, cool thing as well, you progress through the boss fight, shooting it when the shield's down, dodging the projectiles. I'm probably going to die again. So it's getting almost there. Cool thing as well, just this basic gun functionality. It adds decals to the thingy, which kind of makes it look like the arm's been damaged when it's really just a decal of the gun. It's really cool. And obviously when the thing's gone, it deactivates the firing because what's it going to fire out of if there's no arm? That comes into more use again later, which I will show you for like logic wise. You got ammo pickups all around here, just because I'm not a fan of the games where you need to be struggling for ammo and you have difficult fight scenes. Fighting's not my thing. I like puzzles and stuff, so I made fighting the easy element of this game. Now, boss fights, some of his attacks can be quite difficult to avoid, mainly this stomping one. It will cast a line trace from Jamie's feet to you, the player. So if it's not blocking it when he stamps, you'll take damage. But if you stand behind a pillar or your shield, it will negate those damage. That's I'll show you now. So no damage. And then this next one, I'll stand behind the pillar. But I'll do it when I see him stomping so you can see. So I stand behind this pillar. Again, no damage. So that's just by blocking the line trace. Now I'm just going to power through, not bother about dodging them, because damage is probably forgiving enough that I can get away with not dodging it for a bit. Just to get through this quickly, the way the stomp works is with timeline and movement, just up and down, the damage, and there is a stomp particle effect that I've unplugged because of the FPS. That is only triggered once the foot actually impacts with the ground rather than during the stomp stage. And as you can see, like the arms, when a leg's gone, it stops stomping, but also because of logic, you can't stomp if you've got one leg. You lift that up, you fall into the ground. So destroying any of them will actually stop the attack altogether, which, so no, not people won't know that until after it happens. So unless they just focus on one leg, there's not really a way to cheat it and make it deactivate early, because it'll only deactivate when you're nearly done the fight anyway. But even if they do one full leg and then move on to the other, it's not the end of the world. It's one stage. So I think it's worth keeping the logic in there over functionality. Although I am about to break that logic. Because now if I destroy this leg, he floats, which destroys the whole logic off stopping the stomp attack, but it was just a design choice I made. Here is a minion sneeze, and just because it's funny, the boss's face and everything, good old Jamie. These are, again, pretty easy. It has a set amount it will spawn. When you kill enough, his shield will drop, because right now you can't attack him, because he's got his minions out after you. You just kill through all these. They don't really shoot you because of AI bugs, not anything to do with what I've done. But it still adds for a little bit of fun, and I'm probably lucky they're not shooting me because I'm about to die. And when you kill them, the shield drops. This stage doesn't have any attacks that you need to worry about other than the actual minions, because I didn't feel the need to add them here. So you just destroy this. And final stage. This one, he's got laser attacks. You'll see a little glow in the eyes when it's about to fire. That's for affordance. So you know to get out the way. So there you go, the little flash. And then he shot his lasers. Now you should see that again in a second. I'm on literally a sliver of health here, so if I get hit, I'm dead. And again, they don't fire very often because they deal mega amounts of damage. I'm gonna try and not be hit because I don't want to have to die again. But I'm not the best at this. Use a shield. The laser does actually go through the shield, but it still blocks the damage, so it's not the end of the world. The mesh for it goes through. It's got quite a lot of health because I wanted people to be on this stage for a bit longer than the others, just because it's the final one and the laser attack is cool, fun. It's pretty easy, so you're not going to be stuck on the stage you can't complete for a while. It's probably the easiest of them all because you just dodge out the way. It's got some good affordance, I find. But yeah, it's not meant to be the hardest thing in the world. It's for fun, for uniqueness, show functionality, things like that. The multi-stage thing is controlled by the quest manager activating and deactivating this as a quest, and an increment to increase the stage each time. And only when it's on the right stage will the certain things hit and be able to be hit. And there you go. Now, when it's completed, it's a bit more storyline in the top with the quest manager. There are a bunch of the secrets in this room, if I can find one or two of them. There's one there, there's a bunch of other ones in here. You can get them before or after the fight. I recommend after. And again, I'm not going to pick them up, and I have a different amount to what I picked up at the start because I had to replay through this because of the checkpoint bug. So when I reach the end here, it's not going to display the right amount that you've seen me pick up in this video. That's not a bug or anything, that is just because I had to replay it. So this video has been 2 different playthroughs. So now, it tells you to go back to your spawn pod, and this will trigger my final cutscene and the end of the level. So, let me just double check I've explained everything that I wanted to explain. Boss fight. Yeah, I think I have. So, you run back into this pod. When you're in it, it's going to pan out to the camera, trigger this pretty cool fire that will spread through the ship, through the corridors as it is. Spawn pod gets ejected out of the ship. It pans back, and you got a bit more text. And probably one of my favourite bits. I've got an end of level screen. It just kind of blends into the background. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's just got some options. Tells you how long you played for. So this recording is again, this is shorter than what you've seen me play through because I had to replay it, and the second one I just ran through the whole level. And I also died a few times through the fire and steam. So in the video, you've only seen me die twice. I died more than that. When I played it again, so 5 deaths. So this is all correct. What it does here with the minutes and seconds, it takes the game time from the base instance, and it will then take the float value. It will truncate it, so basically turn it into an integer. And then it will do a repeating loop of, if it's more than 60, it will take 60 away and increment the minute value to 1 more than it already was. So the first time it does it, it'll set it to 1, and it will keep doing that until until there's less than 60 left. And it will take how many minutes it's added up, append that with some text, and how many seconds it's got left in the original float value, and it will turn that into 16 minutes and 39 seconds rather than just a big long number of you were playing for 6,832 seconds, because that's not, you don't do maths after you complete the level. Secrets, like I said, I only collected 2 on my other playthrough, and I picked up a few more during this video, but this is 2 out of 50, which means I cannot play the secret level, which doesn't exist so far, but the functionality to get to it does, which I've shown in my gameplay video. But to show both outcomes here, I've decided not to do it for this one. And yeah, that's the end of the level. There's no way to back out of this. Yeah, so you can just close the game down. But that is everything I wanted to show. Thanks for watching.